who's excited for this wonderful race between LinkaMeister and SluckySeven. For those of you who are interested, we've got LinkaMeister at seed 42 with a PB of 55.06 and SluckySeven at seed 58, the PB of 1 hour 57 seconds.
Oh, it seems like Link wasn't really ready. He already quit out, so maybe we should restart this, I think. I think he wasn't aware that it starts that fast. Is there like a restart command?
I'm not sure. So they would just have to dot ready again.
I think we have to open a new. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make
to both dot quit, and then you can do dot restart after that.
Oh.
Or rematch rather, dot rematch.
Never mind.
All right, so hopefully we got the players coming back in here. So they're dot readying. How's everybody doing this fine morning, or I guess afternoon if you're in Europe?
Alright, the countdown begins. And regarding your question, looking out my window, it's ugly weather and raining. Alright, once again, we're gonna start now. Good luck to the runners. I do a short introduction to both of the runners. So, LinkaMeister, some of you might know him as the Hype Meister, LinkaMeister Hype. He has a PB of 55.06 in any percent and is seed number 42 in this tournament. And SluckySeven has a 1 hour 57 second PB and is seed number 58, and both competing in the group Torizo. LinkaMeister is from the Netherlands, and Slucky is from the US East Coast. While both make their way out of the Sirius station. Beautiful escape, lots of RNG, every runner likes it. I talked to the two guys before the race a bit, so LinkaMeister hasn't really touched the games of Metroid in the last 5 months, and he hopes just to finish a race and not die. His last actual completed run was in December, which was his PB with the 55.06. His main game is the Super Metroid hack Project Base, where he holds the world records in low percent ice and low percent. He also is the world record holder of Bram Stoker's Dracula and Sin and Punishment for every difficulty. Then he also runs Castlevania Rebirth and Contra Rebirth. Like I said, his main focus lies on the Project Base Super Metroid hack. And fun fact, actually, some of you might know Hyper Metroid, the hack that is based on Project Base. And he was actually a beta tester of that. And if you ever get to finish a Hyper Metroid run or a casual playthrough, take a good look at the credits, and you'll find his name there. Link started running Super Metroid roughly 2-3 years ago, and his first ever recorded run was in February 2015 with a 103.47. Both players gonna run old route, and Link said he's attempting a 4-tank run. We'll see how he decides during the race. While both of the runners approach Mothball. So far, close race.
I wouldn't even be surprised to see 5 tanks coming out of these players. As far to see that extra safety, especially from Linka, since he has not played in such a long time. If you put this game down for a while, the rust can accumulate quite quickly and quite heavily as well. You would be surprised, have you not run this game, to see how quickly it can build up, let me tell you. But only time will tell. There are a couple of safety tanks we might see some players getting. Kraid tank is normally one of the most common ones. It's pretty quick to get, not too far out of the way. Sometimes Ridley E-tank is one that people will grab. Normally the 3 that people are getting in the majority of the time in the old route, the fastest ones would be the Terminator tank, which you will see coming up here in about a minute and a half. The high jump energy tank, which is just before high jump, located right out in the open, super easy to grab, and then the Botwoon energy tank, which is quite a bit later after you kill Botwoon.
And lastly, the Ridley E-tank that you can acquire right after killing the last of the 4 main bosses.
Right.
So, while we see both working their way through Parlor towards Bomb Terizo, Slucky has been a member of the US military and served in the last 5 years, and was in Afghanistan and Japan. His main game is Castlevania Legacy of Darkness, where he holds the world records in Henry and Henry all bosses. He started running Super Metroid in 2013 and had more or less on-off times with it.
So we saw pretty good climbs from both of these players. Actually, Slucky missed a missile hitting just above the door, entering Bomb Terizo, so he had to go back and farm up some missiles, which might actually be beneficial to him, seeing as he did not enter the fight with full health, but it does seem like he took damage anyway. So with this fight, the goal is to fight him and kill him without getting his head to explode. He has 900 health, or 800. It's 900, I believe. No, it's 800.
Yeah.
And so you start the fight off with 5 shots from your beam, pea shooters, as some people like to call them. each doing 20 damage, so that's 100 health, and then you have to proceed to hit him with another 7 missiles. And the goal is to avoid that head blowing up phase for the fastest time to kill him. So when you reduce his health from 100 to 0, he skips that phase, because should he drop below 100 health, that's when he enters that head blow up phase. Yes, please.
Oh wow, okay. Can you give me another time, please, again? Alright.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Phil. So LinkaMeister already got the early supers, while Slucky just grabbed them. As you might know, there's this technique called mockballing that actually allows us to get supers earlier, not having to fight the mini-boss Spore Spawn. And since that first little sequence break, Spore Spawn hasn't really seen much light of daylight, other than in a few categories, mainly his own category.
And let's not forget the awesome 100% map completion category.
Exactly. I'll just finish the short sum up of Slucky. So he, like I said, started in 2013, played for about a year, and had a break since 2014, and just started a month ago, and has in total 4 hours of D-Rust practice in this 1 month. He said he's confident though about finishing, and takes this tournament as a reason to get back into the game. He's playing on a 6-tank run, so going very safe. No saves, no safety saves. He has done 2 marathon runs in the past, and he said he's not feeling too pressured. So yeah, that's the two sum ups of the 2 runners.
Yeah, I was talking to Slucky right beforehand, and he said he wasn't really feeling. He's feeling pretty good, not really nervous at all. So that's something.
Yeah.
So we do see Spazer coming out from Slucky here. Just a comfort item. Makes some strats a little bit easier when you have precise shots you have to make, or makes the Fantoon fight a little more a little easier to complete with that if you don't have the X Factor strat. So I'm assuming we're probably going to be seeing early ice coming out from Slucky as well before he heads back up to fight Fantoon.
There's also the benefit that for some enemies in Norfair you don't need to use missiles, since a Spazer shot kills them in 1 shot.
Yes, that is true.
So less item switching. And of course, with grabbing Spazer and then probably early ice, it makes also for a very safe red tower climb.
We see LinkaMeister going for the Kraid quick kill, nearly got it, except he shot Kraid just slightly too early, not stunning his mouth open quite far enough, so he didn't get to keep his mouth open, so he just had to get another 300 damage in there, and takes care of Kraid with almost out a hitch. Grab Varia, and now we see Slucky entering. We're going to see his method of quick kill, I'm gonna assume he probably will be doing the charge method.
Yeah.
There are two different methods to do the crate quick kill. There's the method that you saw LinkaMeister do, starting with 2 missiles, finishing with 3 supers, as you're seeing Slucky here.
Nice.
And, looks like he nailed it there. You open up with the charge shot, and what that does for you is that stuns Kraid's hand so that it stays closed and doesn't get in the way during when you're firing the super missiles, giving you a larger window to hit his mouth. However, if you use the 2 missile method, which is slightly faster and conserves some super missiles, it's faster by about 1 to 2 seconds. You do have to shoot around his hand that is opening and closing, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. And most newer players tend to opt to go for the charge method of the quick kill.
Like myself, I confess.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a huge time save. I mean, what you got to do what you know and stick with that. You know, whatever gets runs completed.
Yeah, I agree. Both runners getting crate tank.
Not surprising whatsoever. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of players who are going to be doing gold route in this tournament grabbing the crate tank.
Yeah,
It's super quick to get, and you know, it's definitely going to keep you alive in many situations.
it also lets you confidently do sparks towards the wrecked ship and still have a nice amount to fight Fantoon. And LinkaMeister just got the beautiful high jump boots that, like Back for Justice yesterday said, lets you jump higher.
Yeah, so we mentioned a lot of extra energy tanks come as a safety thing, but as Goop mentioned, it can also make you a little bit more comfortable using faster strats, which in this game a lot of the time faster strats involve damage. So either damage boosting or shine sparking are very fast, but are at the expense of energy. And so, like Goop said, we'll probably be seeing these players going for some shine sparks heading towards the wreck ship.
Also, I'd like to mention that since Slucky picked up Spacer, he's actually really close to LinkaMeister. Mostly because Link missed the quick kill. So this is a really good race so far. Both pretty close together.
Yeah, just about 2 rooms behind right now. I can get a time differential for you guys in just a second.
LinkaMeister
Looking like it's about 15 seconds.
Oh, LinkaMeister got a bad bubble mountain. The cack attack on top.
Hardest boss in the game.
Exactly.
We
all love it.
Cack attack. So now we're gonna see if LinkaMeister continues to struggle with this. We might see Slucky coming up here, taking the lead. Who can get this first?
So
and there they go at the same time. All right, now we've got a race. Look at this. Here we go. Slucky entering the Batcave just a few seconds, maybe 2 seconds behind Linka here. So now it's anybody's game.
Oh, and Slucky, that super drop from the scree in Batcave. I'm sure he would love to get that. So basically now, it'll be crucial who of the two will do an extra farm in Batcave coming right up.
I'm guessing that we're gonna see both players farm until they have full super missiles. That's my bet. It's pretty nice to have quite a few. You're like, oh, Linka left with full health in 4, and then we see Slucky wait until he had 5 supers before he left.
Was that a 2-round farm? I
It
think
was a
so.
3 from
3
Slucky.
rounds. Am I ahead actually in stream? Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna buffer this for a short moment. Oh, Slucky fell down in pre-wave room.
Yeah, it can be a rough room to get back if you're not familiar with the positioning of the platforms. If you fall down there, it's not something you normally pay attention to, so you might be jumping up there blind and hit one of the platforms once or twice.
So we have a little back and forth here.
So now that they've picked up Wave Beam, they're going to head up towards Red Tower and head on towards the Rick ship. I think could probably explain a little bit about Fantoon right now.
Yeah.
Fantoon is a boss that is notorious for his RNG. Definitely the biggest element of RNG as far as bosses go in this game. He has... Optimally, you can kill him in 2 rounds. The method that I'm assuming LinkaMeister will be attempting is the X-Factoring method, and I can cover that first. Fantoon, so in his 2 rounds, each round that he gives you, or each round that you have 6 different patterns that he can give you. And so and then obviously in the second round there'd be another 6 for a total of 12. So if players are going to be efficiently killing Fantoon with the X-Factoring method, they need to memorize all 12 patterns, where Fantoon will move, when they need to charge their shot for the X-Factor, as well as where they need to move themselves to manipulate Fantoon into the correct position to get hit by the X-Factors. And yeah, so like I said earlier, as I had guessed, Slucky is getting early ice.
Yep.
Which then is going to mean he's going to be doing a different method of killing Fantoon. He's going to be using a charge method. I believe with this, oh, he is going for a
slightly
very
different exit,
unconventional, but very conventional intended ice escape here. It's not something I've seen in a while. Anyway, what SluckySeven is gonna do when he gets to Fantoon is he's gonna do a pretty consistent and simple 4-round of Fantoon. Doesn't rely on the patterns so much. Basically what he's gonna do is he's gonna keep Wave and Spazer equipped, but just select Ice Beam, and that's gonna allow him to get in, I believe, 4 charge shots per round. And that he will kill him in 4 rounds quite easily without a hitch.
Also, short information, X-Factoring works in a way you have charge equipped and one of the other beams, and you then select power bombs and hold shoot until the SBA, the special beam attack, goes off. And if your combination happens to be charge and wave, then the special beam attack is an X-Factor. We call it that way because the particles, when they first spawn, move in like an X.
Pretty much the only useful and utilized SBA in the game. There is one for each individual beam, for Ice Beam, Wave Beam, and Plasma as well as Wave. They are hardly ever used. Spazer and Plasma, I think, have yet to be used in any RTA run, whereas Ice Beam the Ice Beam SBA is actually used in the low percent Ice Beam category.
Linka not opting for the full ocean fly, where you would use a super or a missile, or even a normal charge shot, to fly through Moat, the room with the missile on the pillar, and the ocean room. He's Wade strength for the normal 2 spark method.
So here we got Linka farming just a little bit of health before Fantoon, not a bad idea. So I want to mention, there was a question asked what no major glitches is. That bot's answer is good, except part of it is irrelevant for Super Metroid. No major glitches, of course, does stand, or NMG stands for no major glitches. EG is a glitch that is unique to A Link to the Past, not something that is in Super Metroid. Major glitches that some for example would be X-ray climbing. You can use X-ray to actually climb out of bounds and through walls, or there's a memory corruption and alteration that you can do with space-time beam. Where you can equip multiple Spazer and Plasma at the same time when normally you aren't allowed to do that, and it does some funky things. But we've got LinkaMeister getting the first X Factor here pretty nicely.
Yep, it was right slow.
Yeah, it's just getting slow. He looks... Oh, there he goes. Wow.
Nice.
Getting...
nice 2 rounds.
Yeah, really good 2 round. Yeah, so...
Slucky's picked up the missiles.
Slucky is the only one. LinkaMeister did not get Ice Beam. The time differential is quite large now. Slucky had... First of all, he did go and get early Ice Beam. So that time he will make up later when LinkaMeister has to get Ice Beam before Lower Norfair. However, it is slower to get it early. Which is why you see LinkaMeister waiting to get it. It's more of a safety item to get it. Not necessarily safety, more of a comfort item to get it early, as Slucky did. But the time differential is a lot greater now. I can try and get a time for you. I'll wait until Slucky hits the super missiles after Fantoon here.
I hope he's not forgetting to deselect ice.
Yeah, so the reason why that is if you don't deselect Ice Beam, you actually can't get as many charge shots in each round, because what Fantoon will do is if he takes once he takes a certain amount of damage in one round, he will actually disappear and begin another round of flames and flying around like this.
Oh, maybe he's going for missiles and super.
Interesting. Yeah, he might be going for a Doppler method.
Yeah. So this would be the other method of getting a 2-round fight versus Fantoon, which is, in my opinion, a lot harder. You mostly see that, or you always see that in new route runs, where the runners don't have wave beam at that point because they're going to wreck chip first. So they're using missiles to kill Fantoon in 2 rounds. And how that works is they're gonna, or well, actually, while you can explain that better.
I'm actually a little bit concerned here about Slucky. He's taking a lot of damage. Each Flame and Fantoon all deal 20 points of damage here. I'm a little bit concerned. His health is very low, so hopefully he's going to survive. But yeah, missile Dopplering is more relevant in New Route. You pretty much every single round of Fantoon, you open up with 2 missiles and a pause, followed by another 2 missiles. And the reason for this is if you shoot him with 3 missiles really quickly, he disappears. So you do 2, and then pause, and then 2 again, and then pretty much the most simple explanation I can give is if you continue to hit Fantoon with missiles in very quick succession, where the timing between the missiles hitting Fantoon slowly decreases, you can continue to hit him over and over and over until you mess up, allowing him to actually be killed in 1 round, having all 2,500 damage dealt to him in 1 round, but that is very, very difficult in RTA. So Slucky is just barely skating by here, keeps entering danger zone, and then getting a bunch of health from the flames. Lucky there.
Lucky Slucky.
Lucky Slucky, yeah, there we go. And he is opting to, as you can see, he's shooting as I just mentioned before, he's shooting 3 missiles right when Phantoon opens his eye. So, okay. He's shooting missiles right when Phantoon opens his eye, so he's disappearing immediately. He's not getting as much damage in as he could be, but there he goes.
There we go.
Wow. Taking Phantoon. Woo, you can all unclench. You can let out your breath here. So it's looking like he's going to be about 4 minutes behind after that fight. That would be your time differential there. Approximately 4 minutes.
Now he has a good amount of health and a really good looking ammunition count, so he's probably also getting a bit more relaxed now after that fight.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if his heart rate went up just a little bit. Maybe he went in a little bit too relaxed. That's the thing. If you're too confident in yourself, that can actually be detrimental. It's always good. It's good to have a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of nervousness, but because that helps you perform. Too much can be crippling. Too little can be dangerous. So.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you covered that, but if you hit Phantoon with a super missile or a charged ice wave spacer shot, you deal so many damage, 600 that is, that you're gonna enrage Phantoon. And what that does is he'll disappear and appear again in the top center of the screen. And there he will stay undamageable, invincible, and spread flames for, I think, 8 rounds?
Yes, 8 rounds. However, a slight correction. If you use the charge Ice Wave Spacer, it deals 300 damage, and the only time that Phantoon actually enters that enraged state is when you hit him with a super missile. The reason why using the charge Ice Wave Spacer would be slower than charge wave spacer is ice adds just enough damage that you are not able to get in an extra charge shot on Phantoon, meaning you cannot kill him in 4 rounds if you choose to go for that method. So we see from LinkaMeister an excellent one
Really
round
nice.
from Botwoon, opening up the way you do that fight. He always starts in that farthest left hole in the wall, so you can time a X Factor again using the X Factor. It's used 3 times in this round. Well, technically 4, but 3 instances of it. You open up with an X Factor. Each little X Factor particle does 300 damage. And so you're going to hit him with 4 of those, and then you're going to follow that up with 6 super missiles, doing a total of 3,000 damage to Botwoon, killing him in 1 round.
Slucky had a little bit of trouble there in bowling, but luckily he had enough health to survive the spikes. And is also grabbing Gravity now, which is the best suit.
Oh yeah. A suit? Can't think of something that rhymes with suit that would make sense. Alright. So yeah, so now he hopefully will be getting some more health here, not giving us as many heart attacks. With having 75% reduced damage. It's pretty awesome.
I'm sure he'll farm the 2 Kag attacks in Red Tower as well, and since he has full supers, they'll drop him 2 big healths. He skips the crabs, which is not the worst decision, since they do a lot of damage, even with gravity.
If I may jump in here and talk about the Dragon fight just a minute. So you don't see LinkaMeister going for the X Factor at the beginning of Dragon. The X Factor is not required at the beginning of Dragon to be able to kill him in 2 rounds, but it definitely helps. Your Shine Sparks don't need to be as precise. But what you are seeing LinkaMeister doing is he is short charging and Shine Sparking Dragon right through the head. Every frame that you're Shine Sparking through Dragon's head, it's doing 150 damage per frame. It's quite a bit of damage. So you're able to kill Dragon in 2 rounds if doing that efficiently. We didn't see it here, or we might not see this, so I'll just mention it very briefly. Should you Shine Spark Dragon and kill Dragon in the middle of your Shine Spark, don't really need to go into specifics, but majority of the time you will actually get Blue Suit attained from that. So when you've seen people after they picked up Speed Booster, when they run for a short amount of time, they've got their blue echoes. Well, with Blue Suit, you actually maintain those echoes permanently until you use a Shine Spark or press the run button. This happens when your Shine Spark animation is interrupted and you are forced into a standing state, which is what happens when Dragon dies. So if you're in the middle of a Shine Spark when Dragon is dead, that is why that happens. And then they would use it to get across this room again where LinkaMeister is currently space jumping. I'm not sure what Slucky will opt for when he goes to fight Dragon, but we will see.
He
First of all, we
definitely
gotta
opted
Go ahead.
for a safe continuing of his run and took the refill down on the bottom of Red Tower.
Yes.
Definitely a smart decision, since Batoon's body does a bit of damage, and it can happen that when you attempt the X Factor, which he'll probably not do, but when you attempt the X Factor and you're low on health, that you'll get a hit, and sometimes that is crucial.
Yeah,
It just looked like he was getting the missile and super pack in the Meridian Room Aqueduct, but then he probably remembered that that's not the right way in any percent. Of course,
Yeah,
you
so
can grab that
actually,
extra pack.
interesting fact here. Botwoon's body actually does slightly more damage than his head does. So his head is only going to deal 30 damage to you, but his body is actually going to do 32 damage. And the acid is doing 24. So pretty sizable percentage of his total health here. And you see he's taking it pretty safely using his charged Ice Wave Spazer, so he'll be able to clean Botwoon up with 10 successful hits of those charged shots right on Botwoon's head only. And however, Botwoon's hitboxes, his body is made up of all separate hitboxes. Each of those little circles there that make up part of his body each have their own individual hitbox, which can sometimes overlap, and Botwoon is known for having really awful hitboxes. But he cleans up Botwoon here, no problem. Health is not really ever an issue after Botwoon. He hardly ever gives you any ammo drops. It's always health, and you also have an energy tank right afterwards, which it looks like... Oh. It looks like Slucky was about to pass it, but then he's like, no, turn around, it's quick. Jumping in the middle of his speed booster there, turn around, abort.
Also, one more thing towards Botwoon. Although he has a lot of hitboxes regarding his body, he only takes damage on his head. And sometimes he even absorbs a missile or a super shot. While my LinkaMeister stream just closed.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, so that's kind of what I was saying. Because of all of the hitboxes that Botwoon has, sometimes some of the other hitboxes can overlap with his head, and actually, it can look like you hit his head, but you actually hit the invulnerable hitboxes of his body, and you don't actually do any damage to him. So let's see if I can get the... Is it not coming back up for you?
Not in live streamer. Nope, his stream seems to be down.
Alright. Well, I let him know in the SRL, so I guess until we get that sorted out, we can focus in on Slucky here. Taking out these turrets with 3 missiles or a super missile doesn't really matter. It just makes that this fight a lot easier when you're not having to dodge turrets, doing a sizable amount of damage. I believe it is 40. to you, just the same amount as Dragon. So we are going to be seeing him opting for Charge Ice Wave Spazer again here. So Dragon actually has double the health of Botwoon. Oh, he's using some missiles and ammunition as well, which is very smart. Much faster DPS than charging shot. So we're going to be seeing 300 damage from each of these charge shots, 100 from every missile, and 300 from every super missile.
Seems like Link is not in the race anymore, at least according to the race chat. Oh, let's hope not that his internet went down completely.
Wonderful.
Ah, there we are. Alright, nice.
Great. Gotta resync these guys. Let's see. Right. Great. Right on time. Think I used our wrong warp. No, no, no. No splicing here. We do see LinkaMeister now is in Lower Norfair. So this area can be pretty dangerous. This is typically where a lot of maybe some newer players like to have the extra energy tanks, because nearly every single enemy in Lower Norfair will be doing 50 damage to you should you take any hits from them. So having this extra health is definitely helps, as well as Ridley. If you're a little bit unfamiliar with his fight or his flight patterns, it can be difficult to dodge his attacks. And he's going to be doing quite a bit of damage to you. Actually, he won't be doing 50 damage, which is kind of interesting. The enemies in Lower Norfair do more damage than the boss of the area. His tail will be doing 30 damage, and his body will be doing 40, should you be hit by them. Just fun little tidbits of knowledge that I'm sure everyone cares about knowing. But Slucky on his way to Plasma Beam. Best beam ever in the game, other than Charge. But it is super, super powerful. It's going to triple the damage that their Charge shot does. Well, triple the damage that the base shot does, and as well as the Charge shot. Again, another some more damage numbers for you. A charge shot does 3 times the base damage of your beam. So you can, just do a little bit of math. As I said, a charge Ice Wave Spazer shot does 300 as a charge, so only 100 as a regular shot. So, in addition to tripling the damage, Plasma Beam travels through enemies, with the exception of a few bosses. Ridley and Mother Brain.
LinkaMeister had to get the so-called power bombs of shame, since he beat the fast pillar room, and I didn't see, but he probably used 2 power bombs in the Key Hunter room before Wasteland.
Yes, so if you miss fast pillars, if you are unable to shine spark through those pillars at the beginning of Lower Norfair, you need to use 2 power bombs there. And that's not a problem if you're paying attention to your power bomb count. I think Linka might be a little bit anxious, as you can probably imagine, playing for so many people, such a wonderful audience such as yourselves, and also being in a race format can definitely get the nerves going, so I'm sure it just slipped his mind. There are other strats to use, just normal bombs to get through, so you end up not having to grab the power bombs of shame. But here we are in the Ridley fight now, so with their charged Ice Wave Plasma, Ridley has 18,000 health. So that would be 20 charge shots. And so Ridley, is kind of funny. Up until now, every boss has just died of their own accord instantly once their health reaches 0. However, Ridley is slightly different in that regards. Once his health reaches 0, he does not necessarily die instantly. He might try and swoop around and try and do more damage, and try and sometimes even kill you, as some cases has happened once his health reaches 0. So most players actually opt to count all 20 shots, and once they've reached 20 and they know that his health is 0, they try to get grabbed by his claws, and that will activate his death sequence, as you see Linka right now trying to get into the claws, but
yeah, no.
even sometimes when he is dead and he grabs you, it doesn't quite kill you, but it does look like in that case he did actually miscount his shots. This looks like Linka's going to grab for safety Ridley tank here, as I suspected.
Yep. Towards his initial idea of going for tanks. Or rather, against his initial idea.
Yeah, total. I did say Charge Ice Wave Plasma is... I didn't actually say that it's 900, but I did say that Charge Ice Wave Spazer was 300 and it was tripled for Plasma.
We see Slucky now also approaching the lone off entrance. While he's safely space jumping through the lava.
And yeah, you see him charge up a shot there. That would be... And he's kind of flashing yellow as he's spinning with his charge shot. That's what we call a pseudo-screw, or pseudo-screw attack. That actually gives him invulnerability to go through that that flame there. As you saw, he was kind of space jumping inside a little blue fireball. So you can use pseudo-screws to do damage to enemies. It does 200 damage to enemies, or it can give you invulnerability to go through projectiles. Most projectiles. Some projectiles it doesn't apply to.
You could also damage, for example, Dragon with a pseudo screw, but you'll still take damage.
Yeah, so if you do a pseudo screw to an enemy that has more than 200 health, you will do the 200 damage to them, and you will lose your pseudo screw. However, you will take damage from them as well because they are not dead. So, for instance, Dragon has much more than 200 health, so pseudo screwing Dragon will do the 200 damage, but will not kill her unless she has less than 200 damage. Or less than 200 health, excuse me.
Slucky having a bit of trouble there in the worst room in the game. Although... Oh no, he fell all the way down again.
Oh no! I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh. It's such a common... It is unbelievable how common that actually is if you are falling in Super Metroid to miss every single platform on your way down. Even if there are like 10 platforms, it is just so common to miss every single one. It happens in the climb. We just saw it happen there as well. I can't help but laugh a little bit, but I am very concerned for his health. Like I said, everything's doing 50 damage. I would not be surprised if we saw him go grab the Fire Flea tank right now before Ridley.
Which he actually does.
Yep, there he goes.
LinkaMeister made it safely out of Lower Norfair, so we'll see him go back through Bubble Mountain and then use the way through Meridia. And he'll come out in the upper part of Red Tower and moving towards the ship.
Yeah, spit him out right at the landing site and he'll head to Golden 4. I do want to thank RDH2121 for correcting my grammar. I apologize. Thank you for that. As it would be fewer, since you can indeed count health. You would say fewer in this case. So here we go. Oh, he's going for the bomb spread method here. Here's what LinkaMeister did not do. If you hold a charge shot and then you morph, you can actually do what's called a bomb spread, as you saw. You actually lay 5 bombs, which can be just laid out on the ground, just like as you saw, or they can actually fly upwards and bounce around, which can also be... It has a few practical uses. See the Duskiga party over here. He's got 3 of them all just bouncing around. They all want a piece of Samus, that's for sure. Metal Pirate's always a huge roadblock, I think, for a lot of casual players. Figuring out their AI can be pretty difficult, but if you just stand on these right in the middle of those 3 tile blocks. I actually use the red pillars in the background as my cue for that if I do need a cue for where to stand to get them to just ninja kick you.
Yeah, they are very persistent. There are a few ways to kill the Metal Pirates. In New Route, in any percent New Route, you'll see the runners use 2 shine sparks, and they'll spark against the ceiling, and that'll create an echo, and that echo will fly, when done correctly, towards the Metal Pirates and actually killing them. Whereas normally they are not vulnerable in that state, because they only take damage when they are jumping in the air and turn gold. That's why sometimes they're also referred to as the gold pirates. Another method would be using missiles or supers, it being 3 supers, or like Wild said, using the most powerful beam, for example, the plasma beam, or in general every charged beam shot will deal damage to them.
So I think as we see Ridley dying, so this is something that can happen with Ridley. He was dead for a little bit of time there, but he continued to swoop at Slucky there. So if he had been grabbed in his claws, he would have actually activated the death animation a little bit faster. But right now, as we're just got a little bit of downtime here, I actually want to take some time to plug the other tournaments we have going on right here at twitch.tv/speedgaming. As you saw, the command !SM is for our very awesome tournament going on for Super Metroid. This is going to be going on for a couple of months. You can see there a schedule of all the upcoming matches and the brackets, the groups, and the progress in the groups there. There is a Blaster Master tournament going on, ! BM. I can go ahead and put that in the chat, so you can get the schedule for that. There's a couple other ones. There's Ninja Gaiden 2, I believe. It's a command for that one. Go ahead and put that in there as well. Any percent tournament starting in very, very soon. Like just about a week. That Ninja Gaiden tournament. There is a link to the past.
Slucky forgot to farm for power bombs, or rather didn't get power bomb drops from Ridley. So now he understood that he needs to go all the way back to a better farm spot. Either that being the room between the Idor room and the Metal Pirates. Yep, now he's going to the Idor room, because the blue... Are those also called, or green, violas?
Actually, the blue ones are violas, yes.
They'll always drop a power bomb, since you need one to get out of that room wasteland. And it looks like Link made it safely through Turian, through the Turian Metroid rooms, with good ammunition. And he's let's see if he goes for the baby skip.
So yeah, there are a couple other tournaments. There's a Mega Man tournament, as well as a Link to the Past going on. The Mega Man tournament is not started yet. It's got quite a bit of time left for that. We see didn't look like he was really trying for the Metroid skip. Just farther, which is actually, if you're not going to attempt the Metroid skip, it is actually faster to just get grabbed as soon as possible. You want to start that damage cutscene. If it's going to happen, you might as well start it as soon as possible.
It's like really unlucky with the key hunters. They were all in his way in such a way that it was pretty tough to dodge them. Actually, you can, although, hitbox them, which means you shoot right at that moment when you're about to pass them, and that'll actually enable you to go through them without taking damage. Let's hope he takes it careful for the musketeer room for the next 3 key hunters.
Yeah, you are able to run through enemies if you shoot them with plasma during their invulnerability frames. Yeah, it looks like he's going to play it very safely and kill these key hunters. He's going to go ahead and kill them, take them out with 2 charge shots. So we see LinkaMeister going for the Zebetite skip right now. And great, he makes it right through. So we actually... in order to do this, to skip the Zebetites, you have to make use of the, as I said yesterday, the funky physics of frozen enemies. The funky physics of frozen foes. Ah, there we go. Funky physics of frozen... Anyway, I digress. When enemies are frozen, you can actually clip into them and do really weird stuff. So what you actually saw LinkaMeister do is he froze the Rinka inside the pillar, and what you can do is it allows you to clip into the wall where the Zebetite is and actually move through it. So in doing so, it actually does not spawn the remaining 3 Zebetites, which take each... they have 1,000 health, but they regenerate over time. So by the time you would have... And they can only be damaged by ammunition, so it takes approximately 11 missiles, or about 3 super missiles to kill them. So it takes quite a bit of time. So by skipping them, you also skip the requirement of getting a bunch of extra ammunition as well, which would slow you way down.
Linka, without a problem, managed the Mother Brain 2 phase. Just short, since you mentioned upcoming matches, we also have 2 more races today, on this day. The next being at 2 PM Eastern Standard Time between Total and Slidic. Commentator will be back for Justice for now. Maybe someone else will join. And at 8 PM EST there will be Timon versus Retrophile TV. Make sure you don't miss those 2 races. It'll be very interesting. Commentator for the second race will be Tira621, which we saw yesterday in the race.
And so again, yeah, don't miss any upcoming matches. There will be, in this first round robin stage of this tournament, there will be 160 matches that will be streamed right here on twitch.tv/speedgaming. And so with that command, !SM, you can go to that Google Doc and you can see at the bottom there are multiple tabs. You can see, if you click on the upcoming matches tab, you can see the schedule for matches. I'll go ahead and put that in chat once again for you guys, so you can have that. Make sure you stay up to date. And if you're interested in any of those other games that I mentioned earlier, just type those commands, or if you forgot, ask somebody. They can tell you, or you can look below the stream for information on all of the upcoming tournaments that will be right here on this channel.
Is it just me, or does the background in Mother Brain's room at LinkaMeister's stream is super dark? Like, is it...
all of his colors are very dark.
Oh, okay. I thought, like, there was some weird video glitch thing going on.
Animals will be saved at the discretion of the runners.
Slucky opting for the safety ship refill.
And saving.
And saving. Well. Yep.
Here we go. Starting the escape though for LinkaMeister, very, very straightforward. You can lose some time here. That's for sure. Just a couple of shine sparks and some platforming, but other than that, you are in the clear. But
It doesn't look like he's having huge problems.
Well, you know, it's not over until you hit the final split.
Anaconda is totally right, of course.
I was not paid to say that. Shout outs to an awesome speed gaming podcast. But yes, as you can see, there are problems. Goop spoke a little too soon. One might say that he actually jinxed LinkaMeister here.
No, I didn't. He couldn't hear me, I hope.
Regardless of whether or not he heard you, you still said it. And we'll see.
Ah, guilty. Oh,
there is
beautiful spark.
Interesting. Doing a little more precise but faster spark than sparking up all the way up the right side. Fully straight up against the right side of the climb there. Definitely a lot more precise. Saves a marginal amount of time. We will see if he's about to go save the animals here. Does not look like it. Wonderful. I approve. As Slucky enters the final leg of this race. Well, it looks like there we have it. LinkaMeister finishing the race with a race time of 57 minutes 41 seconds. Now, let me... Oh, go ahead.
That means he finished 1 minute and 35 seconds behind his PB, which is quite a good time. Regarding being rusty and haven't really played Vanilla or Super Metroid in a while. Under these circumstances, definitely a really good time.
So if I could just take a minute here to kind of explain how the tournament works. As I mentioned earlier, this is a round-robin format, so there are 16 groups of 5 players, and the way round-robin works is each player in the group must race against every other player in the group. So there will be... each player will have to do 4 races, and what will happen is the top 2 from each group, top 2 players from each group will move on to a best of 32 bracketed single elimination tournament. And the way that will be seeded is not by personal best, which is the way that the groups were seeded, but by the average times you achieve in your 4 races during the round-robin format. Should there be a forfeit, your time will be automatically calculated as 3 hours when those averages are taken. When the average is taken, but your race time in the SRL race is what will be factored into. Is what will be taken as your averages.
Slucky also opting to space jump a bit towards the exit of the baby skip room while getting his health drained.
Yeah, so again, that is slightly slower if you're not confident in your Metroid skip, you're not going to attempt it. It is actually slower to jump across the room. And actually, you can further save a couple of frames if you... about 45, if you actually face to the right when you get grabbed by the Metroid. Samus does not actually have an animation to stand up from the right side. Because she doesn't have one, she actually goes from a crouch straight to a stand-up position, and then you can start running again, which actually saves time over having to wait for Samus to stand up if she faces left. Alright, so we're going to see a Zepatite skip here, hopefully, without a hitch from Slucky. Let's see how he does. Got the Rinka frozen there.
Whoop.
Oh, he is doing an interesting thing. I was wondering if he was going to try to get in there from the bottom. I'm wondering if that is possible to do now, actually. He did get stuck down there, so I'm wondering if you could actually morph and unmorph all the way up through and go in through the bottom. That is interesting.
We're gonna test that later. Still
Well,
having
I
problems.
did find
Problems.
I did find like about 2 years ago a way to skip the Zepatites with Blue Suit, which kind of does something similar. By morphing and unmorphing, getting you up through the pillar there.
You see him going in and out of the room, which is actually not the which is a good decision, since it'll reset the room every time, so he'll create the same scenario for him every time, instead of trying to take another hit and trying the Zep skip again.
Yeah, so the reason why that's important is the Rinka that spawns is consistent every time he enters the room. If it gets frozen and he kills it, for whatever reason, the Rinkas respawn very slowly if they are frozen and then shot, as opposed to not frozen. But also, in order to avoid that, he would have to wait for it to completely unfreeze and then leave the screen to then respawn again. So it's just a lot of time either way. But I guess I can kind of explain what it is that's happening here a little bit more in depth as we have time. When you freeze the Rinka, you need to take damage to gain invulnerability frames. From there, you do a very small spin jump and what that does is it puts you, because of the weird physics of the frozen enemies, it puts you inside the pillar. You can then do a straight jump upwards to get up on top of the where the gap would be if the Zepatite wasn't there, and you can just walk right on through.
I was a little afraid there he might lose too much supers and missiles, but he made it. You need 5? Is it 5 or 6 missiles to break the glass?
It's 6 ammunition shots, missiles or supers or any combination to open up the glass, and then from there, it is an additional 3,000 damage that needs to be done. However, if the 3,000 damage is dealt and the glass is still completely not broken, so for example, if you shot with 10 super missiles, there's still 2 more shots that need to be done to completely break the glass before, I believe it's 18 shots to break the glass completely, and then Mother Brain can die.
That was really close.
Yeah.
Just made it.
Barely made it. So for those of you who are unaware, the Mother Brain scripted Rainbow Beam here does 300 damage, so he barely survived that. If he had taken a little bit extra damage, he would have had to start all over at the ship.
So, definitely a good decision to pick up all those tanks.
Yes.
Also, I want to add to the Zep skid topic. I think my first time run, which was around 7 hours, like a year ago, I was sitting at the Zep skip for around, I think, 1.5 hours, trying to get through. So, if you're still new to it, or if you haven't run the game in a long time, that can definitely be a problem getting through the Sabotage because of the really small spin jump you have to do to actually get through.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, it can be difficult.
But don't give up, guys. Never give up. Well, we watched the cutscene here.
The longest run for any game, I think a safe bet would probably be 100% completion of some RPG. I have absolutely no idea what it is, but
I think Yagamoth could add to that. There are probably some RPGs that are around the 16-hour mark or something. Well, do you know how long the cutscene between Mother Brain 2 and Mother Brain 3 takes? Roughly?
No, I do not. It depends on... It can vary. It depends on your health. Like if you're doing 100%, it can actually last a couple more seconds because it takes long. The Metroid is quote unquote dead before it finishes refilling your health, and the cutscene won't end until your health is completely refilled. Some other Rain will just sit there, opening her mouth over and over, but not actually shooting any onion rings. That's what I like to call them, those little blue circles. And wait until the health is refilled. I do know, however, that once the Metroid in peace dies, it is approximately 2 minutes, provided a good Mother Brain 3 and escape sequence until the end of the game.
Okay. I think it's for any percent regarding the 3 or 4 tanks. Normally, I think the cutscene is about a minute or 50 seconds, something like that.
The only reason why I brought that up is just, like, I don't know. The only time it's ever it ever occurs is in 100%, and that's because you just have so much energy. All other variations of tanks, like pretty much up, I would say up into like 12 energy tanks, probably out of the 14. The cutscene will be the same length because the Metroid is able to refill your health completely before it dies. So we see no animals saved in this race today. Wonderful.
Applause.
Yeah, let's see some clappas in chat there. We got our final racer here finished up with a race time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 58 seconds. Quite a ways behind his PB, but that's okay because it's a race. I'm sure. I hope everybody had fun here today. Hope everybody in chat enjoyed this. I'm not sure if there is anything coming up as far as the other races. I'm sure there is between now and 2 p.m. I believe, which is the next Super Metroid race, but you just leave this stream running all day, every day, 24/7. You will see a lot of really, really great content. So I don't know if we were going to get any of the racers in here to talk just a little bit after the race, or if we just need to wrap it up.
I don't know either. It also seems that... Is there actually a mod around?
Yes, Fiesel. There is. Okay. So the next race, there's going to be Super Metroid at 2 p.m. and then A Link to the Past at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Definitely come back for that. Really awesome stuff. Again, there are more than just Super Metroid and A Link to the Past happening on this channel. There is a Blaster Master tournament currently going on. There is a Ninja Gaiden 2 tournament, which will be starting in just a couple of days. There's a 46 Robot Masters Mega Man tournament, which will be starting in September. I think I'm missing one. But either way, there's lots of goodies, speedrunning goodies. For all your speedrunning needs, come back to twitch.tv/speedgaming.
Did you mention Oceanfly?
No, I did not mention Oceanfly. Do you want to talk about Oceanfly?
We're gonna have... Yeah, sure. We're gonna have a little 24-hour marathon. Actually, this upcoming weekend, from 30th to 1st May. It's called the Oceanfly Marathon, and its purpose is to get a few donations in to fund one of the top European runners to go to the next SGDQ to attempt and race any percent Super Metroid. So you guys don't want to miss that. It will be a really good marathon. We're all hyped about it. 24 hours. Lots of Super Metroid with hacks, different categories. It will be great fun. You can let me put the link in the chat. This is where you get all the information and you can see who's attempting it, who will be the runners, and which categories and hacks gonna be speedrun. I'm personally looking forward to that. So, what about the two? Will they join us now?
I'm not seeing anything from them, so I don't think we're going to be able to hear from the runners, but that's okay, because we had an awesome time. I'm sure they had an awesome time. Everybody in chat had an awesome time. Make sure you guys come back for more to satisfy your speedrunning itch. Come back here later today. I think that is all for me right now. I am Wild Anaconda 69. Thank you for watching, everybody, and we'll see you guys next mission.
Thanks, Anaconda, for your commentary. I'm GoobQ, and I also say bye, and have a good time till the next race.